I would say that to anyone. These days, the attire of respect, but it's again, we're just not aware, we don't pay attention, is change. You can go to the opera and see people dressed all sorts of ways, so to the symphony. Now, granted, this is a little bit old-fashioned thinking, I know, but sometimes I think it's good to have just a little bit of that old-fashioned way, and civility, respect, awareness, and proper dress as we go about our daily activities. So take a breath in this morning, please, and breathing out, resting on our seat. Perhaps already this morning you have been going around here and there. So once again, it's a little bit too far away, but please remove your hat, madam. Remove your hat, madam. Maybe it's a bad hair day, and perhaps either she cannot hear me, or thank you so much. Right. Or I may have, now I can tell, this is Mr. Soga. Mr. Soga, I mistake you. Right. Then I can talk to Mr. Soga like, you know better, Mr. Soga. Sakya, you know you go into the Gonpa, you must take off your hat. Just like in Nepal. This is Mr. Sakya. He's the one you have received some statues, rupas from, and he is honored of us with his presence this day. So good to see your face once again. I must have seen him maybe 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I cannot remember. Wonderful. But anyway, today, this last night, I'm thinking. I will try not to go too much far off into my earlier days. But knowing that this is Easter, the day of the resurrection. So speaking to another teacher this morning, who is a deacon in the Catholic tradition, and then just doing some reading last night and trying to remember from my earlier days. What did those pastors and preachers say to us that stuck in my head, that sort of sent me in this particular direction? And as I was reading last night, and before I get too far, please bring your hands together. Just reading a little bit from Shanti Deva. I must read this from Shanti Deva. So from Acharya Tavara. When you have the mind of enlightenment, all virtuous or non-virtuous activities transform into excellent goodness, because your mind is under the force of virtue. From that time hence, even while asleep or uncensured, a force of merit equal to the sky will perpetually ensue. So I read this last night and I thought, oh, this is very much like the prophet Bodhisattva. And in the Christian tradition, the Son of God said, and I had heard this as a child, I am the light and the way, and whomsoever shall believe in me will never suffer. I think, oh, I think someone else said this too. Guru Rinpoche. By having faith and devotion and the trust, you will never be deserted or lost, and always blessed. And the 4 thoughts that turn the mind toward the Dharma. It says, "O infallible Guru, please think of me, guide and protect and support me." So therefore, to all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, lineage masters, gurus, and yogis down to the present day, we pay homage. May we awaken this enlightened mind, bodhicitta, awaken this enlightened mind within us for the benefit of all sentient beings. Then, as I said to my colleague this morning, may we each be one of those lights that will darken this Kali Yuga, this age of darkness. May each one of us be one of those lights to illuminate the darkness so that we ourselves can see and be a light unto others so they too may see. Therefore, our motivation and our intent this day and all days is to engage in practice for the benefit twofold. The benefit of self and others, but better to say, for the benefit of others and self. Ultimately, we only practice to be a benefit to others. Why? Because we have already taken refuge. We're already under the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So then the request in that prayer is, may all sentient beings achieve this quality and recognize. So again, just rest for a moment and being present in your body, being present in your speech, being present in your mind, being present in your heart, being present in your spirit. Take a breath in, breathing out. The other thing that stuck in my mind as I was a small child, the kingdom of heaven lies within. And in my Father's house, there are many, this is in my Father's mansion, there are many rooms. With belief, but enter one, and you shall be saved. Now, as a kid, I remember maybe a little bit adding already Buddhist concept. But there are many rooms in my Father's mansion. Enter but one, and you shall be saved as you sit by the seat of my Father. So I thought about this as a child. I am the light and the way. He who believes in me will never suffer was one. And then the kingdom of heaven lies within. So I said, oh, may I ask the question? If the kingdom of heaven lies within, and God sits at the throne in the kingdom, therefore, the kingdom and God are within me. That particular teacher didn't take to that rationale that well, but I always said it has to be that way because that is what the prophet said. Look within and you shall see. So many years later, in terms of light, in terms of resurrection, in terms of rainbow body, in terms of, as it says in the vows and this process of metaphony. Dharma gates are boundless, I vow to enter them. Well, the base concept is the same, isn't it? There are many rooms in my Father's mansion. Enter but one, and you shall sit by the seat of my Father. So when we look at these various systems of thoughts, to see how they interlink together and not foreign, and that it's imperative that we respect each other's systems of belief and try to find not the differences, but rejoice in the similarities, I think. Then, as I probably said last Easter, I'm not sure, we have many masters who have achieved rainbow body, the body of light, documentation thereof. As this event in the cosmos was documented by this particular prophet raising from the dead and achieving and appearing as the body of light upon the earth before the ascension for 40 days. Guru Rinpoche was placed in the fire in the kingdom of Zohar. I had been to the kingdom of Zohar and located in India. And he was placed with, I forget her name, not Yeshishogel, Mandavada. And they were burnt by her father, but not one hair was singed upon their body. So the Guru Rinpoche had miraculous powers, as many of the prophets that have come and influenced humanity and given methods of salvation have had this ability to resurrect, to achieve the body of light, to be a guide and a support and a savior of sentient beings during the time of darkness. So therefore, during the time of darkness, the only way we can dispel the darkness is with light. Who has the light? You do. Each one of you. All the great prophets have put this forth, that the light of the awakened ones, as Shantideva was just saying, the light of the awakened ones lies within each and every one of you at this very moment. Enlightenment. I always like that word. Enlightenment. It doesn't say outlightenment. I can see that old preacher. He's not old because he was always immaculately dressed and everything. And as he moved back and forth from the pulpit and engaged his congregation, and he would say to them, that light, that enlightenment lies within each and every one of you at this very moment. Then I thought the metaphor. So I was curious, who and how was that stone moved from the tomb of the master? An angel descended and moved the tomb and moved the stone and opened the tomb and stayed there until the master walked out in the light as though floating above the ground. Then again, I thought, oh, the metaphor of to remove the stone so that the light of resurrection can come forth. The stone of our ignorance, the stone of our attachment, the stone of our desire, the stone of our anger, the stone of our jealousy, of our lust, our greed, our pride, and our stupidity. Those stones block and dim the light. So this was removed. And as a result, this particular master came forth and exacted an ideology of belief that altered the course of histories. Well, so did Guru Rinpoche achieve the body of light. And it is said that Guru Rinpoche also ascended, that he did not die in terms of a mortal aspect, but transformed into the Sambhogakaya. What is the Sambhogakaya? The Sambhogakaya is the body of light. So we could keep going through and see many correlations in the base conceptuality of these different systems of belief. but not until we completely surrender ourselves to that light that lies within, and recognizing that same light within others, do we arrive to the height of our potentiality, of our own virtuous activities that will be a benefit to all sentient beings. I think you already know all of these things, so I'm just the puppet pattering to remind you that central theme on Easter is this time of resurrection. But for us, every moment is a time of resurrection, to resurrect, to rise up, to be in the light that lies within. Thus, back to that word, the enlightenment, the inner enlightenment that must radiate out for the benefit of all sentient beings. There are many correlations between whether it was Muhammad, Zoroastrian, or Jesus Christ, or Buddha, or Guru Rinpoche, and all of the other great masters that have brought forth those ideologies and concepts that will bring some alleviation from suffering to sentient beings. Rise up from the darkness and be in the light. Look to my Father, and you shall be saved. And you will not have to put forth effort. You will not have to fight. But merely through embracing that light, you will be supported and guided. But this is the same thing Guru Rinpoche said. We say it every time we make these various prayers. And the idea in making that is so that you do it again and again and again. And it's like making a furrow in the ground. And every time you go like this or like that, then deeper, deeper, deeper. So it must sink deep into our bones. Someone just reminded me shortly, it lives in your bones. That even in your dreams, as Shantideva was saying, even in your dreams, oh, dreaming last night, oh, there's a spider in my dream. Oh, now the spider. Leave spider alone, don't hurt the spider. Then I think in my dream, oh, I saw a spider. So the spider is good omen. So you see spider, it's good omen. But anyway, only reason I'm saying this is because we grew up in a culture, for the most part, where these Judeo-Christian concepts and ideas, they're still within us per se. I think it's important to see it is not one way of believing or not that we have to, that we want to adhere to, but I think it's finding a universality of the various belief systems. Well, that takes us back to these practices. What is it that we must enlighten? Consciousness. The consciousness has the ability to formulate this belief or that belief. What is the common denominator? Consciousness. We all have this in common right now. Our awareness and our consciousness is interconnected like the threads that create a cloth or fiber. And as I've said in the past, the cloth and the fiber we want to create is one of enlightenment, one of compassion and loving kindness, one of basic goodness, respect, regardless of what the belief system is. So what supersedes that belief system? What supersedes the belief system is that which constructs the belief system, consciousness or mind. So to go to the root, as the Buddha said, we go up or down by our own actions of thoughts and thoughts and concepts that arise from the mind itself, consciousness. To recognize Buddha nature, to be in your own enlightenment, is to come face to face with the purity of that consciousness which forms the constructs of concepts in which we create what we call our relative reality, right? You know all these things. So on this Easter day, maybe the closing remark is simple. Be in the light. Be of the light of loving kindness and compassion and joyous and equanimity for the benefit of all sentient beings. And I can hear that old preacher says that old song about to roll away the stone, but to roll away the stone of our own heart, our own obscurations and hindrances and defilements, our negative karmic action and disease born of the mind. This is the stone. If we can roll that stone away, that enlightened quality that lies within our Buddha nature is ever present. It easily shines forth. Don't you think so? Just even now, you could just, remove the obscurations, remove your stones. And maybe we have to come to terms with, what are your stones? We are very vested in our stones. They belong to me. I must defend them. Don't break my stone. Well, I think the Dakas and the Dakinis are like the angels, aren't they? So perhaps the Dakas and the Dakinis, especially the Dakinis, are ever present to remove those obscuring factors that block our sight of seeing the Dharma, the truth. So even the Master Jesus Christ emerges from the tomb to say, why did he do this? The same, why did Guru Rinpoche do what he did? To show the capability that each and every one of us can rise up. So to rise up, to resurrect. To rise up from what? To rise up from our own self-created darkness. So I'm sure there are many clergy and various other faiths, especially both in all traditions, or maybe talking about this particular event because it's a very Western concept, but studied and known in the great monasteries also. Even there's records and writings of Ishawa, the Saint Ishawa, dressed in white, who walked among the masses. Jesus Christ. The saint dressed in white, who lived in the high mountains and caves, Milarepa. Or the great Naljolpa, who established the Tibetan Buddhist or the Buddhist tradition in the Himalayan region of Nepal, Ladakh, Spiti, Kathmandu, etc. Guru Rinpoche. Whether it's Brahma or Vishnu or Shakti or Krishna, all of the great avatars, they brought one common thing and one common theme that we can see that's a through line. They all spoke about light. To be that light during these darkened times. Breathe in. I don't know if you can say to yourself, but I ask to consider. I can hear maybe, I think Jimmy Carter talked about 1,000 points of light. And I remember him saying, will you join me in being one of those lights that will bring about loving kindness, compassion, joyousness, and equanimity for the benefit of all sentient beings. Like that. Breathe in, please. Breathe out. Rest your mind. Supposedly, the story, a place called Sopema, Risowa, northern India. This is Lake water, Sopema. So Guru Rinpoche, and this is in the land of Zohar. Guru Rinpoche and Madhavada, they are set in this, which was not a lake to begin with, but they were set a fire in this area. And obviously, Madhavada was not pleased with the Guru Rinpoche. He did not fully understand his intentions. So, but anyway, it supposedly, as the story goes, is that as the fire was lit, that the earth began to shake. And as the earth began to shake, it cracked, and this water came up that formed what's now called Sopema. And I guess the fire was just put out. It really didn't affect them at all. Again, going back to these correlations of concepts. How did that stone move? Supposedly, it says there was an earthquake. And that earthquake, whether it was initiated by the angel that descended from heaven or not, we don't know. And the earthquake that created the split in the earth in which the water came up. Again, how that happened, we don't know. But we have the continuation of these ideologies down to the present day. Again, I have made retreat in this area of Sopema, Guru Rinpoche Cave, high up in the mountain. But you can Google Sopema and find the story. The same way you can Google the story, you can Google everything now, the story of how the stone was removed. So I keep thinking about how can we remove the stone from our heart so that the ever-present light will burst forth in the 10 directions for the benefit of all sentient beings. One way to begin to do that, last thing I thought about, last night, Shantideva. Well, what did Shantideva do? I guess I'm not sure if it's the 9th and 10th chapter of the Bodhicharyatabhata. He is speaking, but he's rising into the air. And he rises to the top of the Gonpa, which must have had a very high ceiling, because it says he rose so high into the air that they could only hear his voice. They could not see him anymore. So therefore, he also he ascended. There's that word again, the ascension into the self-existing light. So Shantideva. So again, my intent was for myself is to look at correlating concepts so that we begin to see none of it's foreign at all. It's merely, what is it that resonates with you as a human being, as a sentient being, as a conscious life form in the vastness of the universe? And that once one has apprehended a conceptuality that fashions their reality, at the same time, we see the similarity of other conceptual-based belief systems, which takes us back to the primary, to have respect for consciousness, to have respect for life, to have respect for the evolution of consciousness and the evolution of life in all of its various manifestations, wherever it may be. So hopefully as we continue to transverse through these challenging times, which is always there in samsara, that evolution and that awakening and that inner enlightenment bursts forth for the benefit of all sentient beings. So maybe having talked way too much, we can start now having set the stage by saying, most precious Guru, please think of me. Bestow the blessings that will free and ripen my mind, so that I may realize as quickly as possible for the benefit of all sentient beings. So every time you say that, you're setting your motivation, you're setting your intent, you're invoking and you're requesting. Most precious Guru, please think of me. Bestow the blessings that will free and ripen my mind, so that I may realize as quickly as possible for the benefit of all sentient beings. Most precious Guru, please think of me. Bestow the blessings that will free and ripen my mind, so that I may realize as quickly as possible for the benefit of all sentient beings. So you should take this to heart every time you say it. And now you visualize it. Lama, Buddhadharma, Sangha is right there. And so having recognized that, then when we say we take refuge. So isn't taking refuge like entering into one of the rooms, as it was stated in his father's mansion? And by entering in whichever room one chooses to do so, that you will sit at the feet of the master. So I can remember going and being at Nagi Gonpa. Maybe Mr. Sakya, you know where Nagi Gonpa is, up by Surapuri Mountain. So being and going into that little room, many years after year, going into that little room and sitting at the feet of Urgyen Rinpoche or Gyaltsen Rinpoche, right? Dorje Rinpoche, many Rinpoches. So taking refuge like that. Namo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Uzo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo Lama Lagab Zojo Zenga Lagab Zojo Lagab Zojo Gena Lagab Zojo. And another thing, I guess I just wanted to acknowledge. I was fortunate enough to have my second in Asia. I had my second jab. So I had my second jab. And I sort of have been waiting for the ride. It's been quite minimal, to tell you the truth, nothing. But what I thought about is a nation, a global pandemic, but a global rising up to meet a specific challenge. And it's been proving time and time again. Unfortunately, it has to be something of such great magnitude that brings us together with a commonality. Up until then, we just fight and bicker and argue and kill each other. But now we have this outer virus that's exposed, the inner virus. But I'm just sort of amazed, don't you? And I commend all of you, because I'm sure you've helped in various ways. Some of you have worked directly. So just pay homage and give thanks to all of those individuals who have, like Nimala, who put themselves on the front line every day. This is, I don't see her today. Maybe I just, something was said, get used to living in the woods because we're not out of it yet. I always like that phrase when I'm sitting looking at the trees. We are used to living in this situation. Even though we have the vaccination, it's still necessary to keep discipline and protocol because we do see spikes in various areas. But I just said, sitting there yesterday, I was sitting the day, on Friday, and just thinking how amazing in the organization of doing this. So please, if you have chance and you know people, just say to them, just thank you. Thank you for taking care of us, right? And seeing how, just imagine, it's been a year and how quickly these various vaccinations have come on. The sites to vaccinate, the ways of testing, the ways of blocking. We have new words, creating these small little bubbles of safety, and we can go on and on. So when you're practicing, please think of all of those workers who have put themselves on the line. And the more than 500,000, more than 500,000 people have died, past, related or directly. But here we are, Konama, sitting. It could easily be one of us that have passed and left this planet or this realm. So give thanks. And I can hear the old preacher say, give thanks that the stone was rolled away. Therefore we can say, sentient beings are infinite. I vow to liberate them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to transcend them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. Buddha's enlightened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Sentient beings are numberless. I vow to liberate them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to transcend them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. Buddha's enlightened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Sentient beings are infinite. I vow to liberate them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to transcend them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. Buddha's enlightened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. So that you should visualize now all of the bodhisattvas of the Mahayana tradition, all the arhats of the Theravada tradition. They're standing right there in front of you, invoking, inviting, please come and join us. We pass our blessings on to you so that you in turn can be enlightened or to be a light to help others see in the stalking times. Zoom transit 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 tashi tojo zunga zumba yes gedo da gedo babezo gunla jazo dajo daji so drome karbar zande dron jamber gelbar gedrar badam bar gunla gumba tashi tabajen Lubu drapa dodra barda senje tapie tapon drapeta yeje bazra drapa te senje tumbe taje palpewa dewa jeba gela zazalo Zamba junur tauden doje jen bre sanwo lumbo tamde Zayi Nembo Nemba Namda Nembo Pajo Kondo Urba Doji Parga Dojo Dobu Tarwa Dede Namayi Zaze Narandam Daje Baji Jot Chendu Semba Yeda Zazalo Renjen Doji Na Dunjum Ponza Namo Lama Nida Dunda Bunzum Bari Nidya Tanzan Pondu Renjen Doji Chen Todu Kajen Digima Juju Jinwo Jembe Palde Tashi Namo Gila Tazalo Zamba Tumbo Timzo Jebebu Mendon Donadan Kwampo Donzo Barge Bondo Donwa Beje Zan Naruto Tete Tonje Dudo Doje Noronda Dombo Doje Baryon Verdu Doje Gaje Zazun Deje Gede Taje Bechende Dowa Dula Dado Tende Juma Samba Argenda Jawa Juma Dundune Dundum Daba Zundu Nejedu Tashi Dede Kunzu Dado Tende Jawa Jumbo Argenda Jawa Juma Kunzu Dundum Daba Zundu Nejedu Tashi Dede Kunzu So whatever new projects you have, whatever your aspirations to be a benefit to others, it says by doing Teshe Gepa, it will be blessed to have an auspicious outcome. Jonam Jele Gele John Jeton Jeje Chebe Song Gula Gumbo Kanye Ba Junjo Jimbo Dege Song Lua Dabda Zamba Ye Zange Dodan Yedon La Chanjo Debo Dege Ba Taba Dane Gabzu Je Zirab Nende Dande Be Zombe Jenje Dodo Da Sange Dondo Nege De Zombe Jenjo Sange Do Jeze Namga Namba Da Dowa Jeze Nego Ba Jeze Dode Nego De Dowa Darga Selva So Jonam Zele Gele Jon Dedon Zede Debe Zo Gula Gumbo Kanyaba Jenzo Jimbo Dege Zo Dowa Dada Zamba Yi Sange Dona Gedon La Chanda Nebo Dege Ba Daba Dane Gabze Je Zera Be Zombe Dondo Da Sange Dondo Nege De Zombe Jenzo Sange Do Jeze Nanga Nama Da Dowa Jeze Nego Ba Jeze Dode Nego Ne Dowa Darga Sawa So Jonam Jele Gere Jon Jeju Jeze Jebe Zongola Gombo Kanjeba Jino Jimbo Dege Zon Dowa Dada Samba Yi Sange Dodan Gedon La Jando Debo Dege Ba Daba Dane Gabzo Je Jira Nze Danjebe Zombe Jende Dondo Da Zange Dondo Nege De Zombe Jendo Zunge Do Jeze Nanga Nama Da Dowa Jeze Nego Ba Jeze Dode Nego Ne Dowa Darga Sawa So all phenomena arise from their causes. Their causes are explained by the Buddha. Cessation of these causes too are taught thus by the great sage. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the misery and suffering and the causality of ignorance, desire, and anger in this world through loving kindness and compassion. I hope every day, at least you, as you practice, but you maybe don't practice and say, I will be a good person. I will radiate basic goodness. I will evolve. And each day, hopefully strive to be the best human being that I can. I have the wish that every sentient being have happiness, and every sentient being is without suffering. I'm sure you do this every day, as the Buddha did. So again, reading, you look at the parallels of the various mystics and prophets. The Buddha sat underneath a tree and recognized the innate quality that was ever present. The Master Jesus Christ, in one way, was, as the story goes, nailed to a tree, suffered greatly, but also arose to his already enlightened quality, at least from my early Christian days. In the same way, Guru Rinpoche and the Buddha, from the time of their birth in this realm, were already endowed with the enlightened quality, as all of us are also. And merely their journey is to show us how we too can arrive at the same place. That we eventually, no matter how we look outside, eventually we must turn and look within. Enlightenment within. Not, oh, looking. You don't find any Buddha, not until you look within. So therefore the Master says, I am the light and the way. And the kingdom of the enlightened quality, changing the word, lies within. So at this very moment, before we do the prayer to the Buddha really is to invoke that quality that already lies within. Tayato mune ma mune yesoa, 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 tayato mune ma mune yesoa. Nuzo mune ma mune yesoa, mune ma mune yesoa, mune ma mune yesoa. Zomane mane mahamana yesoa mane mahamana yesoa mane mahamana yesoa mane Zomane mane mahamana yesoa mane mahamana yesoa mane Zomane mane mahamana yesoa 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 mane Zomane mane mahamana yesoa mane mahamana yesoa mane Zomane mane mahamana yesoa mane Zomane mane mahamana yesoa mane mahamana yesoa mane Zomane mane mahamana yesoa mane mahamana yesoa mane Zomane mane mahamana yesoa mane mahamana yesoa mane mahamana yesoa mane Zomane Zomane mane mahamana yesoa mane mahamana yesoa mane Zomane mane mahamana yesoa mane Zomane mane mahamana yesoa mane Again, we visualize receiving the blessings directly from the Buddha in the form of four lights: white, red, blue, yellow, from the four places of the visualized Buddha to the four places of our own body. Inseparable indivisibility of this connection. Then in your heart space, this again I was reading last night, you visualize lotus flower, beautiful lotus. And in the middle of that lotus is a moon disc cushion. In the middle of that moon disc cushion is the seed syllable. I'm just tracing it, seed syllable ah, which you should be able to see just like that. And that ah is brilliant, giving out first four, we could say, sub-qualities of your merit, your happiness, your blessing, and your fortune. But they're all radiating out with only two main aspects: the light of loving kindness and compassion for the benefit of all sentient beings. Then, at some point, I want to go into the Four Noble Truths. The main and that first noble truth, taka, suffering. How does the suffering, what is suffering? Then I thought, its root, ignorance, desire, anger. So when you're breathing out, first it says giving and taking. So first you give out, you give away. Then what do you take in? Represented like a bluish black smoke. You draw in ignorance, you draw in desire, and you draw in attachment, and you draw in anger. Because these are the roots of suffering. And again, not until we go to the root of the causality of suffering will it change. So it has to change at the base level within our own consciousness, or to recognize that those aspects themselves are actually loving kindness and compassion looked at from the other side. We only look at one side. We must look at the other side of the coin and see that they are interconnected. It is only our misperception that brings about our continued being in that shackles of darkness. Those four or three main things. So practice Tonlin, give out first, and then draw in ignorance. Imagine you could take all the ignorance, all attachment, desire, all the anger, you draw it into the ah. And when you breathe out like brilliant light going out in the 10 directions, practice Tonlin, count the outgoing breath as a marker, and we begin. Now in your mind's eye, we could visualize that our intention has been accomplished. And as we breathe out like water into water, the essence of the Buddha's mind and the essence of our mind are not different. Buddha's mind and our mind, same consciousness. The difference is the Buddha fully realized, we unrealized. Buddha enlightened, we unenlightened. But the potentiality of the same enlightenment is ever present. So when I practice, I visualize, even though the thought is lofty, the essence of the Buddha's mind and the essence of my mind, the essence is one and the same. Its nature is expressed in the same way. The recognition is only in lies the difference. So my Namakazi, he would say, recognize. Have you recognized? Recognize. Best. And then as you breathe out, it's not that you went somewhere, that you left somewhere. Buddha nature is not coming and going, it is ever present. So as you breathe out with that, Dorje, Gyaltsen, So again, you should visualize Dzogchen with Guru Rinpoche being the central figure. Om Urgyen Guru Dhamma Siddhi Om Urgyen Bema Gita Don Bola Gyaltsen Joji Guru Ne Bema June Satsura Gudur Ganda Mando Gur Gege Dadu Darugi Chenje Laje Zazo Guru Bema Siddhi Om Urgyen Joji Naja Bema Gita Don Bola Gyaltsen Joji Guru Ne Bema June Satsura Gudur Gando Mambo Gur Gege Zazu Darugi Chenje Laje Zazo Guru Bema Zi Ima Ho Jojo Jogi Gengi Zengamzu Joni Jojo Gega Mepega Jojo Dojo Chewa Chumbo Nanga Chundo Doji Jore Lama Juge Gula Zuwade Borge Bema Jonila Zuwade Dejen Luge Drumbe Zengamzu Gunzo Nyondan Yonden Tundegi Geje Gande Jawa Jilegu Doji Jedra Nezo Zozorda Lama Dojo Jokula Zuwade Norien Bema Janela Zuwade Pigeon Dende Dembe Zengamzu Doji Jembo Jowe Danla Jan Ganla Gamdu Dergi Dondoje Dedamajo Dada Danjongi Lama Chube Gula Zuwade Norien Bema Janela Zuwade Kunzon dozon get up, Bemba get up in that Zozo, Nadra, Dundo, Gazozo, Lada, Nama, Nama, Zoade, Zeje guje dona jese de brime ozo gende dozo so ozo loje namye nazoba jeme limbe zela zoba Dunjon yonye bema jenege zedo dugo gozo gozo Zenge dembe gembo bejon jon dunjon jebe la soba Women jogi yenge podana duzo zamge guje Renzem go gozo dozo be zoe la me namla so de re roman jogi yoki bodando dozo samge goji go Renzem go gozo danze ba zoe la me shala so de Yewa kundu yondan lama dan drume jogi bala bojo Sadama jurun zo ne doji jinji go pa no to so Then we visualize subtle body 3 times. Close off the left channel. Close off the right channel. In and out through both. Focus on the central channel to clear the nadis. Om a I u le le o anga kaka kaka saja janya ta 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 pa 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 ya wa sha ka sa sha Omedama hetu brava hetu tagata watu kensa yundarua e pamene paha samana soha Uze badra samaya za bam ho Om ritsa ramane bhava daye soha Zabara samaya za Badra hamrita kundale hana Om He. And now the main part is Guru Rinpoche is coming directly in front of you. You invoke, you invite. Ranjin Yunde Honde Uzo Tube Lama Dan Dizo Mepe Konja Joge Gambo Donjon Dutzer Garya Meza Wa Mepe Gowa Dun Genamga Baza Sama Sange Dodan Zogi Zonamba Jenso Bajo Dani Kapsuti Daji Zenzo Gebezo Namge Zola Benze Sange Chobasho Sange Dodan Zogi Zonamba Jenso Bajo Dani Kapsuti Daji Zenzo Gebezo Namge Zola Benze Sange Chobasho Sange Dodan Zogi Zonamba Jenso Bajo Dani Kapsuti Daji Zenzogi Bezo Namge Jola Benze Zenge Jobasho Za Mu Ba Mu Zorje Naran La Temba Du White Tuma Baja Mahasri Haragar Dene Doje Torva Gurgu Ram Yam Da Onzuarva Zuto Zava Danbe Zulbe Zuto No to me them the Rinpoche, then you get you with under Dorje, Dorje, Lumpa, Bonzo, Toba, Dodge, Gazo, Jambo, go. Oma, 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 Bame, Pate, Sapa, River, Larpa, Zatsumaza, Zata, Napa, Te, Bada, Data. Namo Sabada Gata Bayu Mishu Mugube, Sab, no Tetsaparan, and the Kampasoa. Namo Sabada Gata Bayu Mishu Mugube, Sab, that the Mugate Saparana, Idam Ganana Kampasoa. Namo Sabada Gata Bayu Mishu Mugube, Sab, no Tetsaparan, and the Kam. Soha. Gada Nade, Lado, do. Do do da do de ge de da na de la do de no da do da do de ge de da do na de la do no da do da de ge de da do de no da To liberate the obstructors. At the essence, their nature is the same. May they recognize and not create any problems, but be liberated. Umbaja Mahasri Haragaron, Dene Dorje Torva, good. Ram Yam. Sarva Juto, Sava Dharma, Zode, Sudo. Tome, Demde, Rinpoche, Ninyan Shen, Getjeway, Nando, Torma, Toro, Tombo, Bonzo, Zuba, Dajen, Gazo, Chenko, Oma, Sarabutraga, Sarata. Saba Negene, Nomo Saba Dadaga, Dabayam Bishop Mugube, Saban to take that Saparana, Iram, Gorehana, Iram, Balinda, Daye, Sua. Saba Negene, Nomo Saba Dadaga, Dabayam Bishop Mugube, Saban to take that Saparana, Iram, Gorehana, Iram, Balinda, Daye, Sua. Saba Negene, Nomo Saba Dadaga, Dabayam Bishop Mugube. Sabo no te desaparanda iram gorihanda iram balinda taye soha. Yes, Urgyen Samten Ling Gonpa Puja, Dorje Gunda Duba Puja, Donge Mebe Demba Medewa Puja, Tendanda, Dewa Nana Zebemela Demba Puja, Urgyen Samten Duba Gunda Duba Puja, Donge Gunda Duba Puja. Donge mebe demba da bedewa guji re denda dewa sebe mela demba guji senjen jamje jowa dewa gunda duba guji dunya da dureki gunda duba guji dunye mebe demba da medewa guji re denda dewa sebe mela Number Guji Uma Soha Uma So establishing the Vajra fence. Zazur Mando Joje Zawada Jojo Rinde Gute Tawaji Kawa Tute Daje Tuteba Tunde Tuba Tunde Go. Sashi Puja Joja Mezo Drum River Zende Sambagi Shenge Zende Meta Buaye Dungam Nda Zenda Chubachu Idam Rana Mandra Naga Meta Kaya Sashi Puja Joja Mezo Drum River Zende Sambagi Shenge Zende Meta Buaye Dungam Nda Zenda Chubachu Idam Rana Mandra Naga Meta Kaya Saji Puji Joja Mizu Drum River Zenede Zambagi Zange Zende Meda Buwayi Durgum Nunda Zenda Joba Jo Idan Randa Mandula Kamida Taya Badru Sato Samaya Manubalaya Badru Sato Senova Dedu Dedu Mabuwa Sudogaya Mabuwa Sudogaya Mabuwa Narate Mabuwa Sava Siri Nebaya Zaragama Dudune Sedum Sedum Guru Hum Ha O Bhagavan Saradadagata Badramani Musa Vendu Bhava Ma Samaya Satua Badru Sadu Samaya Mano Balaya Badru Sadu Senova Situ Situ Sudogaya Mabuwa Sudogaya Mabuwa Anara Tusabu Sava Siri Nebaya Zaragama Dudune Sedum Guru Hum Ha O Bhagavan Saradadagata Badramani Musa Vendu Bhava Ma Samaya Sadhu Urgyen Samten Ling Gonpa Gyaltsen Joji Gojune Pema June Sasura Udur Kando Mambo Urgegi Sasu Tarugi Jinje Da Je Sasu Su Guru Pema Siri Urgyen Samten Ling Gonpa Gyaltsen Joji Gojune Pema June Sasura Udur Kando Mambo Urgegi Sasu Tarugi Jinje Da Je Sasu Su Guru Pema Siri Urgyen Samten Gyaltsen Joji Gojune Pema June Sasura Udur Kando Mambo Urgegi Sasu Tarugi Jinje Da Je Sasu Su Guru Pema Siri Oma Bhadra Guru Padma Drujansa Bhadra Samaya Zaza. Assemblage. Jri Bhadra Druja Nama Jogi Gu Dejen Doje Nama Jogi Bada Norodo Lama Jubego Gonzo Dorje Chanla Suwade Urgyen Rinpoche La Suwade Gajen Paje Pejojen Dorje Samba Drupada Druru Dumo Duru Sa Ze Adi Blu Prati Saho Bhadra Adgam Bhadam Dute Aloge Gande Newade Shabda Rupa Shabda Gande Raja Sepaje Dhammadata Kutsa Ho Zama Bhadra Guru Brahma Siddhi Hum 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 Bhadra Guru Brahma Siddhi Zama Bhadra Guru Brahma Siddhi Hum Bhadra Guru Brahma Siddhi Zomahum Baja Guru Bama Sede Umahum Baja Guru Bama Sede Umahum Baja Guru Bama Sede Umahum Baja Guru Bama Sede Zomahum Baja Bama Sede Umahum Baja Bama Sede Zomahum Baja Guru Bama Sede Umahum Baja Guru Bama Sede Zomahum Baja Guru Bama Sede Zomahum Baja Bama Sede Zomahum Baja Bama Sede Zomahum Baja Bama Sede Zomahum Baja Zomahum So, if you have taken refuge, and I think most of you, for the most part, have received, either from myself or some other quarter, the reading or the lung of the practice of the Vidyaharas or Rinzun Rupa. So if you have, then you visualize, I am the deity. And within your heart space is a lotus, the sun, the moon disk, and Dorje. This is Lama way. In the middle of the Dorje is a seed suitable, a deep, Ashura like sapphire blue. The seed suitable home. And in a counterclockwise, city home is written, but it is moving or encircled counterclockwise. As it does so, multicolored rays of light like rainbow issue forth either from self-generated or frontal-generated deity. That light radiating out has three properties. First property, and you'll find this throughout all of the practices for the most part. First, it goes out as an offering to all of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, etc., past, present, future. And then that light is absorbed back. Then it goes out again as a blessing, blessing all sentient beings, cleansing and purifying obscurations, hindrance, etc., and liberating all sentient beings, transforming, liberating. And again, it radiates back. The third time it goes out to the heart of all of the enlightened beings and gathers the essence of all of their wisdom, the essence of all of their knowledge and wisdom coming back to you. And so this is constant, light out, light back, the three parts into one entity, but just to delineate the three aspects, but really just one aspect, light radiates out, light coming back in the terms of the recitation and the visualization. Bhaja Guru Bama Zidyo Mama And then, is it possible you could put the Guru Rinpoche Sakli? You might think, what am I looking at? You can see Urgyen Lama Thupten Sao. So the Lord of the family, where all of the Buddhists, the past, present, and future, are embodied. So we could say Guru Rinpoche is the manifestation of the Trinity, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. It's also a manifestation of all kayas and wisdoms. Dhammakaya, Sambhavakaya, Namanakaya. Then we can also see the central figures surrounding Guru Rinpoche, or the 25 main disciples which descend down through present line, through our teachers, to ourselves to this day. Then we can see the 8 Herukas, right? So the highly enlightened ones, the masters of India, surrounding Guru Rinpoche. In the upper right-hand corner, upper left-hand corner, you see a ray of sun with those 2 figures. This is called Namkai Ningpo. So his manifestation or reincarnation is I received blessings from him in Bhutan. He is head of one large monastery in Bhutan, in Mumtang in Bhutan. So we are connected directly to this Sakli. Now at the bottom, we see as we were doing Vajrayogini or Yamka, but we're not visualizing Yamka now. We're visualizing Guru Rinpoche as the main practice, either frontal or self-generated. One knows what that means. But the main thing is just be open to the light, like we said earlier, of the Lord of the family, of the Master Guru Rinpoche, recognizing that the quality of the Guru is not inseparable from that of ours. Thus, the Guru Yoga, the union of our mind and the Guru's mind, recognized as indivisible. When you summons the Dhammapalas, so Guru Rinpoche is the one who made oath with the Dhammapalas to be the protectors of time, place, teachings, teachers, and the practitioners. So we summons them, we make offering to remind them it is time for you to fulfill your oath. Namo Guru Be, Namo Guru Be, Namo Guru Be. Shri Panjahara Karude Rude Honjo Honte. Bene baje jande ramya gam jobe toje nagwa tru damje dine dije tuje tre pite tamye chorye guru nuze ramya Oma 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 the horns ring So you should think Guru Rinpoche, manifestation of all the Buddhas, is now directly in front of you. So now all of the enlightened ones are in front of you, and they're bestowing the blessings of auspiciousness, the blessings of good merit, loving kindness and compassion, removing all obstacles, and most important, the blessing of health and the blessing of long life. If we don't have health and long life, then how can we be a benefit to ourselves or to others? So may you receive the blessings of long life, longevity. Sri 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 Nama Tanye Tanye Tesu Dava Medu Doda Jemedu Draden Wanye Dove Baje Sa Pema June Nendo Dowada Tadon Garbo Soda Dowade Suwa Debzo Gajen Baje So Chenje Ajen Jeme No do Om Mama Rene Zewa Dai Guru Bema Turya Kunda Jana Anyo Siddhi Sri Mama Rene Zewa Dure Guru Bema Turya Mama Rene Zewa Dure Guru Bema Turya Anyo Siddhi Sri Badruza de Samaya, Manobalaya, Badruza de Denova, the Dudu Mevoa, Sugaya Mevoa, Anarado Mevoa, Lava City, Megaya to Zaranama Zudune, Zedun Sidum Guru, Hum, Ha, O, Bhagavan, Dara Dada Badruman and Mudovan, Samaya, Badruza de Samaya, Manobalaya, Badruza de Denova, Jedu Mevoa, Zudogaya Mevoa, Zudogaya. And if you have many obstacles in your path, then again, how can you arrive at your destination? So we do Duju Samge, may all obstacles be removed. So the analogy, may the stone roll away so you and we can come into the light. Jena Zoe Badi Jova Dan, Samado Gejova Jelo, the Zozam Gegoro and Boje, Goraka Jova Jambosa, Baja, so Badu Zojunja, Nadu, so Jena Zoe Badi Jova Dan, Samado Gejova Jelo, the Zozam Gegoro and Boje, Goraka. Bajugunza Jula de Bosa, Zova the Zojanja, Ladu Jena Zoe Badi Jova Dan, Samado Gejova Jelo, the Zozam Gegoro. Gurugunda do Jambosa, Bajugunza do the Bosa, Zova the Zojanja, Ladu Jena Zoe Badi Jova Dan, Samado Gejova. Duzum Gegura and Baje, Gurugunda do Jambosa, Bajugunza do the Bosa, Zova the Zojanja, Ladu Jena Zoe Badi Jova. Samado Gejova Jelo, Duzum Gegura and Baje, Gurugunda do Jambosa, Bajugunza do the Bosa. Dozo Jindela, Dozo Jina, the Webade Joana, Zambalu Gejova Jelo, Duzum Gegura and Baje, Bajugunza do the Bosa, Zova Dozo Jindela, Dozo Jina, the Webade Joana, Zamalu Gejova Jelo, Duzum Gegura. Guruganda do Jambosa, Bajugunza do the Bosa, Zova Dozo Jindela, Dozo Jina, the Webade Joana, Zamalu Gejova. Duzum Gegura and Baje, Guruganda do Jambosa, Bajugunza do the Bosa, Zova Dozo Jindela, Dozo Jina, the Webade Joana. Samalu Gejova Jelo, Duzum Gegura and Baje, Guruganda do Jambosa, Bajugunza do the Zuba Jenje, no, Zombadru Zadu Zamaya, Manubalaya, Badru Zadu Denaba, Mabova, Zutogaya, Mabova, Zutogaya, Anaraja Mabova, Zavaziri Nebaya, Zaragama Zutane, oh, Bhagavan, Zavadada, Baru, and Mazavanta, Samaya, Zadua, Badru Zadu Zamaya, Manubalaya, Badru Zadu Denova, Zudogaya Mabova, Zubogaya Mabova, Anaraja Mabova, So again, you can have the thought now, oh, I have engaged in the puja of Guru Rinpoche for the benefit of all sentient beings. Twofold aspects have been fulfilled. That which is beneficial to self and that which is beneficial to all sentient beings. We can think at least maybe this small effort that we have engaged in today has brought some light and lightness into this world and perhaps have dispelled the true virus. And the true virus is the virus of ignorance, virus of attachment and a desire, and the virus of anger. These needs to find the vaccination. What is the vaccination for these three poisons, as it says? The single antidote is bodhicitta, enlightened mind. And it's administered through the needle and the syringe filled with loving kindness and compassion and joyousness and equanimity. I want my arm to be sore from that. This is good soreness. Yeah. So with that said, take a breath in, breathing out. Now everything dissolves into its intrinsic nature of emptiness, relatively existing, but ultimately empty, with the potentiality to come into being through cause, circumstances, and conditions. So let your hands rest upon your knees. Now you just let everything go. Your mind is spacious and open like the sky. Awareness is the radiant quality like the sun, the moon, and the stars. Your breath is natural like the breeze passing back and forth among the trees to move the leaves. And your body is as stable as a pine tree or like that of a mountain. Tilopa, what does he say? Relax right now and rest. Looking neither in nor out. All is natural. Whatever thought it may be arising in your mind, it is nothing more than a dream, a reflection, an apparition, a mirage. Do not hold on. Do not impede. Whatever comes, whatever resides, and whatever leaves. Like clouds moving in the sky. They do not affect the space one iota, nor do they alter the light. Recognize spatiality and luminosity, the essence and the nature of your mind. Again, let go. Relax. Right now, rest. Breathing out as you bring your hands to the gesture of tranquility in the Prajnaparamita Sutra. No eye, no nose, no ear, no tongue, no body, no mind. The six guardians, trickery, dreaming, emptiness of eye, emptiness of nose, emptiness of ear and tongue and body and mind. Empty, but arising through cause, conditions, and circumstances. Even though they arise in their perceptual nature, ultimately, intrinsically empty. So as it says, arising but empty, empty but arising. There is only emptiness. Recognize. 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 And when you have this recognition, do you not perceive your enlightenment, your inner light, your inner light? Your light of compassion, your light of kindness, your light of basic goodness. Breathing in, breathing out. Yo idea no you do. Urgyen Lama Dorje ne Dorje ne Nani Pa Jini Shela Asho. Genre Benwa Hinwa Zenwa Jobanda Dowa Mother Dowa Genre Zenwa Denza Gajo Jeber Gajo Badu Tango Selu Mega Mega Jo Genjo Gambo Kanjo Babo Jebe Meje Gajo Rajan Lajan Rajan Dajan Umzute Senge Renge Zamba Roro Denda Demba Dan Gundo Zombo Dan Yete Dada Gunje Juju Dunda Jenga But then La Megonze Damba Dan Gayam Yo Wadi Ke Yo Wai Dashi Pato Zanda Dundu Dundu Zange Jula Jubajo Dimbe Bagula Meje Pede Dizenge Buzo Jendula Gabdimbe No Jubagi Dumba Yormi Dabde Dashijo Tudenze Bedenje Don Jemba Zedru Dembe Nanda Jeme Denzo Mela Meden Bazete Bazedru Kenzo Zenjo Rendoje Mageba Namge Goje Geba Namba Mebaje Gune Gonjo Bepozo Gazog Daye Donwe Don Dojo Goyen Dojo Jinbeje Dojo Namdrave Pande Megun Zodu Damba Rumta Tashi Ale Sho Dieta Unga de Gate Beregate Berezungate Botizoa Dieta Munga de Gate Beregate Berezungate Botizoa Dieta Munga de Gate Beregate Berezungate Botizoa. Let go of what is past. Let go of what may come. Let go of what you're thinking about happening right now. Don't try to figure anything out. Don't try to make anything happen, Talopa says. Relax right now. Rest. I hope this day and all days and all lives to come that you bask in the radiant sun of your own enlightened nature for the benefit of all sentient beings. That you nourish the totality of space from within yourself from which you are not separate. And that you truly become grounded in the truth of Dharma with devotion and with a faith and a trust. So Mr. Sakya, so the Buddha came from Sakya. Mr. Sakya is from the Sakya clan. So on this day, we have wonderful guest visiting us. And in his shop, which I have been in New York, Chinatown, many Buddhists. In fact, now I have many of those Buddhists in my little room, which men could tell you. But anyway, I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of the day. Maybe there's someone you need to reach out and just say, thank you for your presence in my life. And you radiate your loving, kind, basic, good light out for everyone. So the time goes so quick. I must say goodbye now. Thank you for being here this morning. Enjoy your day.